When police arrived on the scene in March 2017, after receiving a call about gunfire in a Grand Rapids, Michigan neighborhood, they discovered the body of 50-year-old Lori Lundenberg lying on the sidewalk. It was immediately apparent that Lori's belongings had not been taken, suggesting that the death was not the result of a botched robbery. On top of that, they saw that there was no bullet casings in the area, suggested that the shooter either used a revolver or shot from inside a vehicle. The police investigated the case, but it would go unsolved for nearly a year in the absence of witness testimony or other supporting evidence. In January 2018, the police responded to another shooting in the same area where Lori had been found. This time, the victim was a man named Andrew Hawkins. The scene of the crime, Vincent Rodriguez, was the man they tried to interview. While trying to escape the scene, Vincent was apprehended and taken into custody by the police. Now that the police had their prime suspect, Vincent, they only needed to question him and listen to his answers. Vincent was carrying a gun that was identical in caliber to the one that had killed Lori.
Through a very emotionally charged kind of thing. We know things didn't go the way you meant them to go, okay? Sure, what happened didn't mean to happen. But we gotta talk about it and stuff, okay?
Cynthia, I'm gonna read your rights because you're here and you can't leave. And like I said, I'm gonna read your rights and then we can decide how this is gonna go, okay? Can you read and write English, okay? Yes? Would you like to read along with that card? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to the presence of a lawyer before and during any questioning, and if you wish a lawyer cannot afford one, the court will appoint one before any questioning. Do you understand that?
No one's gonna make you say anything today.
I know in fact.
You want me to do it again? Okay, let's do it again. Number one, you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that? Yep, okay. Number two, anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand that? No?
No.
Anything you say can be used against you in a court of law. I don't doubt for 1 second that you understand what I'm telling you. You understand the conversation. You understand the questions. So we're gonna have to come to some type of agreement here, or at least an understanding whether or not you want to act like a young adult or not.
After Vincente has read his
Once Vincent has read his rights, he claims he doesn't know what. Read to him. It makes no difference if he is acting foolish or if he is truly not understanding, because the investigator is unable to. Keep asking him till he hears Vincent confirm that he gets it.
A lot of people, you're not an unintelligent person. You want to start over?
I forget.
Okay.
How long ago did you guys break up?
Oh,
You and your girlfriend?
I don't even remember that.
Vincent's mother was already consulted before this interrogation, notified them that he was really depressed after his partner ended their relationship.
Each other, you had some goals written down there in your bedroom closet about what your goals together were going to be for the new year. Was that for next New Year's, or this New Year's had already happened? Was that the goal for?
I just and I can't say I black out, but I don't know. It's like once it gets to a point.
I know you've had some anger issues and been to some anger counseling in the past, right? Was that a court order thing, or is that, what's that?
I don't remember.
Well, I've seen some paperwork in your bedroom that was from you going to anger.
I really have a problem. It's not just anger. I'm not stupid.
Right, that's exactly what we said to you earlier.
But something's really wrong with my brain.
Like like, and not just anger, but just keeping your emotions in control? Is that what you're saying, or what do you? 'Cause there are some
I don't
people.
know exactly what happens.
Mhm.
It feels like 1 minute I'm here, but then the next minute I'm like now. I feel here.
You what?
I feel here.
You fell?
No, I feel like I'm here.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like you're kind of grounded?
A message is delivered to the detective from a surgeon informing him that Vincent must declare his understanding of his rights prior to that. Questioning can continue.
Why don't we go over this another time? Now that it seems like you've got a little more clarity in your speaking, and maybe you understand it a little better. I'll read. Just I want to make sure you understand this before we talk anymore about this. Fair enough? Okay. Can you read that? Do you go by Vicente or Sente? Either one?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to read that, or you want me to read it for you?
No, I'm reading it. You want me to read it? No.
Just so I make sure I understand it. Or you understand
You
it?
have the right to remain silent. Anything you say or can be used against you in the court of law.
Do you understand those rights? I read them to you? Yeah?
Yeah,
Doesn't say you did anything wrong. Doesn't say you meant anything. Just meant that you will talk to us. You can say what you want. You don't have to say anything you don't want to. Okay? You understand that?
When the investigator is finally able to question his suspect about the crime, he begins by attempting to make. Vincent thinks it would be futile to dispute that he was the gunman.
This case for, I don't know, a day and a half straight. You can tell because I got like a half a beard going. I'm kind of tired. I know this case pretty well because I've talked to a ton of people and I've looked at a lot of evidence and I understand the case. What I don't necessarily understand is maybe how you were feeling at the time and what led up to this and your side of the story, because that needs to get talked about by you, because I don't know what's going on in your head at that time. And the only way anybody's going to know about how you felt about certain things is if you tell them. Does that make sense? Because as it stands right now, you're kind of in a bad light about what happened. A lot of people told us what happened. Okay? And it makes you look kind of like a bad guy. But that isn't always necessarily the case because your side of the story hasn't been told. Does that make sense? Yeah? All right. So can you kind of maybe just start last night? Tell me what was going on with you. It's probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock right now. Okay?
you said it's 4:30, 5 o'clock right now.
In the afternoon. So we're talking about like last night, 7, 8, 9 o'clock p.m.
I'm just trying to think about what I did yesterday.
Okay.
I remember basically like we was texting and stuff, me and her,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I was like we were like not on good, like we were on a good term, like not to the point where if I seen her I'm like angry at her or anything. It's just I have that, it would be at that point where it's just like I feel somebody and like I'm just not about to just like I'm not gonna just start yelling and screaming for no reason. Like,
It's a good choice.
yeah. But it leaded off with anger. I don't know what we was talking about, but I know like the conversation like ended and I didn't hear from her for a while, and like I know I was calling for a second. I probably called a couple times.
Who? I want to make sure who we're talking about. Who are we talking about that you're having problems with?
What was her name?
She's your girlfriend, right?
It's really hard for me to remember like what all happened yesterday to whatever like got me in this situation right now. Cause I feel like I know it's you guys are detectives and whatever happened is serious.
Yeah.
Like it gotta be serious because I'm sitting in front of y'all. I had to go to the hospital.
Right, we knew about that. You have a little run-in with a police dog?
Sunday goes on acting as though he can't recall what happened the previous evening, claiming that since he was taken into custody and was there, it had to be something terrible. In the process of being questioned by the police, he also says that, despite the fact that they dated for a considerable amount of time.
Only thing that I was just about to say is that I know me and her texted from here and there, and we had like a little disagreement, argument. However,
Is it hard just kind of coming to terms with speaking about that? You feel like
speaking about what?
Speaking about her. I mean, I think you dated her for about 3 years. And I got a bad memory. I can't remember what I had for lunch some days. But I can remember a girl that I dated for 3 years. Probably remember her first name.
Yeah, when you say her first name, yeah, I remember.
Okay. She cheating on you? Or did you think she was cheating on you? Why would you think that?
It wasn't a thing.
You knew it?
Had you seen her with him before last night?
I saw it and I just...
In the vehicle, Vincent observed his victim Andrew and his ex-girlfriend together. According to witness evidence, states that he saw it and lost his cool, almost admitting to the crime. But when the investigator asks him to provide further detail about what he observed, he pauses just before responding, snapped.
What did you see?
Just how our relationship turned out.
Okay.
Our relationship turned out. Like, it was perfect. To me.
But then it got bad?
I guess so. I guess you noticed that I have a problem.
She noticed that you did? With that?
I know I have a problem.
What do you think your problem is?
With jealousy? With jealousy, do you have a problem with?
That can fall in line. But I seriously have a problem with my brain. I really do. I'm here in a minute and then I'm not.
Can I refresh your memory about a couple things? That'd be okay. Do you remember being over on 2nd Street last night? Because a lot of people on 2nd Street remembered you being over there. Less than a day ago, not that long ago. I can imagine that having to tell a story out loud about something like this is not easy. we both know that you wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't have a lot of reason to have you down here. Here's what I don't want to do, Vicente. I could lay out piece by piece of the reasons or the different elements of this whole thing that puts you right in the middle of this incident.
You lost me.
I know, it's a bad wording on my part. I could tell the story for you, but I'm not sure that's going to help you. Truth be told, just man to man, you and me sitting right here. Today, right here, you look like a monster. And I want to hear a story that I can take with me to the prosecutor's office where I can tell them, Vicente fucked up, but he's not a monster. And here's why. Because he told me the truth about these things. He has remorse about these things.
Do you know what remorse is?
He acted like a man about these things. They're not going to go away. I think your story needs to be told and heard and listened to by somebody other than me. And I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to take your story and tell my boss, tell the court, tell the judge about you. Because what it looks like right now for you is not good at all. Does that make sense to you?
It makes sense, but why do I look like a monster?
Here's where we're going to get hung up. I don't want to sit here and play the I don't remember game. I really don't. I've been out for a long time, kind of tired. And I'm willing to sit here and listen to you. I think AJ and myself treated you like a man. Haven't yelled at you. Haven't badgered you. Just want to...
Vincenz has still not been brought up. Once a suspect has admitted to a crime, they wish to hold off on charging him until he confesses to the second victim. They will typically feel more comfortable admitting additional offenses they have committed.
Yeah, I got mad.
You got mad on 2nd Street?
I got mad at home.
When you're texting? Okay. So did you walk immediately over there?
Yep.
What happened when you got over there?
When I got over there, only thing that I remember is that I started running towards the car.
Whose car was it?
I don't know whose car it was. Honestly, I don't even remember what kind of car it was, what color it was.
Do you remember who was in it? Let me tell you this, I believe you probably do remember.
She was in there. That's why I was mad.
You know the other people in there too. And they know you.
I remember I came up to the car and I pulled her out. And I was mad because she was doing something that she wasn't supposed to be doing. She was in the car like smoking and stuff like that. And she tells me that she doesn't smoke.
Oh.
She tried to prevent me from smoking. Like, I know I walked away.
Yeah.
Because I sat there and I was trying to talk to her, and I was basically saying like, why, like you don't see what you're doing, like to piss me off. Like you're clearly like out here doing something that you don't supposed to be doing when you told me you were just cleaning your room and stuff like that. Like, yeah, you at home, like, but you like out here smoking and basically hiding stuff from me. So.
But you're also more mad about the boy being there.
Yeah, because she used to hang around him when I first met her, and I was At first, I was basically saying when I first got with her, I was saying like, that's your friend. Like, I really can't bump into the middle of that. Like, jump into your life and tell you who and not to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Do you know that dude's name?
I can't remember his name.
If I told you, would you remember it?
It may ring some bells. Cause I remember that goal sheet that we had, that me and her had, and that was supposed to be for this year. We was supposed to get an apartment. We was supposed to basically like start getting our life together. Like, when just she go to school and I go to work and stuff like that, and like if we have a kid, we basically just start a family. Like, but that didn't happen.
That looked like some good goals.
Yeah.
Both of you.
So let me just recap this. So what you're saying is that you traded some texts with her in the evening. You maybe argued a little bit over some things, and then you decided to go over to 2nd Street, maybe to confront her or find out what the heck she was doing. And you found her in a car with some other people. Is that accurate?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You pulled her out of the car to confront her about what happened.
Mm-hmm.
What happened during that time?
When I was talking to her when I pulled her out the car.
Yeah.
Like I said, we was sitting there and I was basically telling her like, is this what you choosing to do?
Right.
Like, if it is, I would leave. And that's what happened. I left. And her friend was sitting there because her friend made me mad because she started jumping into our situation, which really has nothing to do with her.
Right. A skinny girl.
Yeah. And she basically I told her, is that what you choose to do? And her friend was sitting there, and I started walking off, and how I remember her, she started crying, and I remember her saying no. Like, I remember her saying no, and she like started crying, and I just walked away. I walked away, and it all started coming to my head. It just made me mad. It started running through my head. I left, and I got home. When I got home, only thing that I can remember is that I started going back over there. Whatever happened, I don't know. I still don't know till now. Like, we all know that I'm here in front of you guys for a reason, and it's something serious. As y'all saying, it's something serious. And I'm hoping that the dude is just like, I didn't hurt him bad. I hope that I didn't hurt her bad. I'm hoping that I didn't hurt whoever else was in that car, that skinny girl that came out the car, like basically defending her. I hope I did not hurt anybody that bad. Because I know I have a problem. And if I have this kind of a problem, and then I come back to reality, like, no, I don't know if I pronounced that right, but I have a problem. I really have a problem.
I believe you.
And I know 9 times out of 10 you guys is looking at me like, he might have a problem, he may not, he may just be acting, but I'm serious.
Okay. What happened over there where you think you may have hurt somebody?
Huh?
What happened over there around the car with those other people that you think you may have hurt them?
Truthfully.
No, I'm hoping that I didn't hurt them. I know when I pulled her out that car, when I like talked to her, I pulled her out the car and I started talking to her. I didn't hurt her. I did not want to hurt her. Only thing I wanted to do is basically show her what's going on. Showing you what you're doing to me and basically what you're doing to this relationship and what it's going to end out to. And that's...
They have every reason in the world to be motivated by Vincent, but he persists. It is crucial that they persuade him to confess to the crime in order for him to argue that he doesn't remember the actual offense themselves. Hence, they have to concentrate on what he can't recall.
What you just described is kind of the starting point for what happened over there. It went from that into a couple more little incidents that you're really not describing.
Like, honestly, whatever, like, I didn't mean to do.
Well, how do you know that you didn't mean to do it if you don't know what it was that you did?
That's what I'm saying, whatever I did.
Nobody's, I'm just being honest with you. Nobody's going to go for the I don't remember. Nobody is. All these people have been around this for decades.
But if I really don't remember,
Then nobody's going to believe that, Vicente. That's not. I mean, scientific studies have been done on this sort of thing. Even people been in war and do violent things. There's not a matter of I can't remember. You might forget little details or something, but you know what happened.
Sometimes it's convenient not to remember because it kind of suits the purpose for yourself.
And I know we've been in this situation with you before.
For the next
Throughout the course of the following hour, the detectives keep arguing that Vincent should confess to the crime and that they have enough evidence to prosecute him. At one point, Vincent even attempts to lie, claiming that he went to watch a movie with pals eventually pays off, and Vincent starts to describe what happened in detail.
When I first came, that's when I had pulled her off the car.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I had started talking to him about basically why you doing this and stuff like that. And then I left.
Okay.
Then when I got home, that's when all that stuff started going through my head.
The jealousy and the anger and all that.
Yeah.
So how long before you went back over there?
I don't know how long it was, but I just lost it.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I lost it.
Control of your anger.
Mm-hmm.
Then you went to confront her.
Honestly, like, by every single, like, I don't know what I did, like, step by step.
Right.
Like, but I did something bad. I know I did.
What would that be?
Honestly, I don't know what I did. I know I came. I'm being honest with you.
You're getting
I
that.
came, and when I got there, that second time,
Yeah.
I lost it.
Okay. What did you do?
When I got there the second time, I came up to her. And I wanted to just hit her.
So what happened?
I just ran off.
What really happened?
Is that when you pull the gun out? When you come up to her?
I didn't pull no gun out on her. I didn't pull it out on her. I wanted to. I didn't though.
Where did you have the gun?
Like your breast pocket? Is that what you're saying?
What kind of gun is that?
Is it like an inside pocket one? Because that's a pretty big gun to fit in that pocket of your coat. Is that pocket that big on that coat? Yes. So your left side breast pocket. That's what you're saying.
I only remember bits and pieces. And I remember running up to her and I scared her. And I wasn't trying to scare her. I scared her. And then after I did that, I remember I was running.
Okay.
And my leg hurted.
The reason that you scared her is because you had a gun pointed at her head. That's why you scared her. Can we agree on that?
If I did, I don't remember ever doing, like, pointing no gun at her head.
Well, that's convenient for you to say. Because it's not easy to talk about.
I ran up to her, and yeah, I pointed it at her.
Meaning, what's going through your mind at that point? Are you trying to get her to leave with you? What's going through your mind at that point?
Maybe pay attention to you.
Sure, I didn't want to hurt her.
Yeah. And you know what's good about that? There's two things that are good about that. Number one, we appreciate you telling the truth. Number two, she didn't get hurt. Okay?
That's good.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. At that point, you're obviously angry. You're up there. Are you, in your mind, are you almost scaring yourself with your anger, or do you feel like you're in control at
It
that
scared the fuck out of me.
point? Okay. Because you're so angry at that point. Were you more angry the second time than you were the first time, would you say?
I was angry. I was more angry the second time.
When you...
Good.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When I did that, I didn't want to hurt her, and I was scared that I was going to.
What causes you to stop pointing the gun at her and for her to move out of the way or whatever?
I stopped pointing the gun at her because I didn't want to hurt her.
Okay. What did she do? Did she move away from you then? Did she get in the car?
No, I moved.
You moved? Where did you move to?
I went to the back.
By the garage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
And
I appreciate you telling me the truth, because I asked you a little bit ago just to go back by the garage, and you said no. So I appreciate that.
I went back there.
Okay.
And when I went back there, I told myself to leave because it was time to go. Because I knew if I wasn't in, I knew if I would have stayed there, I would have hurt somebody. And that's what happened.
Let me stop you. We both know there's one more aspect to this story that's not being told.
He's about to tell it. He's getting to it.
Can we agree to that?
What do you
There's
mean?
one more thing that happened. Okay, pulling her out of the car, pointing the gun at her head, going to the garage, coming back up to the car. There's one more part of this that needs to get explained. It was kind of the big part.
Are they trying to pull away as you go back up the car, or are they still just kind of sitting there?
No, I don't know if you, it seemed like you had the story kind of confused. What, the first time is when I pulled her out the car.
Yeah.
And I talked to her. I don't know if I probably was getting it wrong from what you were saying. But the first time I came, I pulled her out the car. That happened. I left. I came back.
Yeah.
And that second time, I came out the back and she was there, and that's when I pointed the gun.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to hurt her, so I didn't want to. I didn't.
Was she out of the car at that point?
Yeah, she was out of the car going into the car.
Okay.
Like, and when I did that, I remember I didn't want to hurt her.
But there was a pause, right?
I went to the back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what?
And then, because her and her friend came out, and they got in the car,
Yeah.
and the skinny girl wasn't there.
Correct. What happened then?
After I ran to the back,
You come back to the car, and what's going through your head when you're coming back to the car?
I came back to the car. Yep.
What happened?
I just never expect me to do some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what we've heard.
All right.
So what's going through your mind as you're coming back up to that car? The anger, jealousy thing kind of getting the best
I
of you?
was so mad. I was just so mad.
Were you more mad at her, mad at that guy? Who were you mad at the most? What did you say?
I really can't say it was like a level of certain type of mad between everybody. I'm basically say I'm like the same amount between everybody or something.
Sure.
But I was mad. I really was.
What happened?
And I got in there. I don't know why I said I got in there. I came back, and yes, I shot him.
How many times do you remember shooting?
I shot him.
We know.
Vincent found it difficult to admit to taking Andrew's life, but now that he's done so, he speaks more candidly about what transpired and his feelings with one. After the confession, the detectives had to wait to discuss the first murder until the appropriate moment.
I did what I did. And I fucked up. I wouldn't blame you if you looked at me like a monster.
No, we're looking at you like people we've dealt with before that have emotional issues and sometimes can't control their anger and let it get the best of them. And jealousy is a tough thing for a normal person. If someone has somebody that they feel like is cheating on them or whatever, or leaving them, and it can get people really mad. How many years have you dealt with anger issues, would you say? Were you identified at a younger age with anger issues, or was it later as a teen?
I was never identified.
Okay. What was that thing in your room about the anger thing? It looked like you were taking like an anger management class or something.
That anger, I took anger management.
You want some more water? You want to take a 2-minute break just to gather ourselves here? I think we need to talk for a second. Can we get you some water and come back?
Would you rather have pop? Pop be better for you? Or would you water fine? I don't know if it's better for you, but if you like pop, some people like pop better than water.
I might as well, because I ain't gonna have it in a while.
You like Coke?
What y'all got?
Diet Coke, pretty much.
Just Coke.
What Mountain Dew?
Yeah, there might be
I
Mountain
don't
Dew.
mess with Mountain Dew. Yeah, I just go to Coke.
Straight Coke.
They depart the room in order to gather themselves and devise a strategy for handling that. In the upcoming case, they have to be cautious not to linger too long because they want to interview Vincent while he is at ease and sensitive since his initial admission.
What do you mean?
I had some other stuff going on. The prosecutor on another case I was working on. We're getting ready to talk to you anyway.
About what?
Well, you had a situation in March, right after you went to court for your situation over there on Lincoln Street. You know what I'm talking about?
Are y'all trying to put that on me?
I'm not trying to put anything on you, but listen, okay? A lot of things have come to light in the last few months. Like a lot of times when things happen in areas and people get themselves in situations and other people come forward, and it's just how things work, okay? And like I remember when we talked about earlier about the bullets and how they have microscopic things on them, little tiny grooves, and they can say what gun a bullet came from. But do you remember what her nickname was around the neighborhood there that some people called her? Do you ever remember anybody calling her the bird lady? So one time she used to walk around with a bird on her shoulder.
Yeah, I remember she had birds, yeah.
She had a bit of a drinking problem.
I didn't know her that well.
Okay. I know, your friend stayed there. I know all about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I also know when she came over and yelled at you, you got out of the passenger side of that car and pulled the gun out on her during the daytime. No, you didn't do anything to her. You didn't hurt her. Right? I'm not lying. You know it's true. She can be an abrasive person. I know a lot of people. I dealt with her in the past. I know she can be an abrasive person, and she's a mean drunk. I know that. Lori Lindenberg.
Oh.
There's a lot of our police officers that dealt with her over the years. She was a mean drunk. Her own kids would tell you that. And she had mental problems. And it's never good when you have a person that has that kind of mental issue that she dealt with, that drank with it. That's never a good thing. It spirals things worse than it normally is. Okay.
Before AJ gets too far into this, you know what you're getting charged with today?
You guys doing me for murder.
Yeah. And here's the key thing about stuff like this, okay? You've been around court a little bit. You haven't been enormous amount of contact with court. When you have court and you have stuff, major things going on criminally, you always want everything to go together. If you have a few things going, you want it to be one package. That way you got one thing, you're dealing with the judge, and you're not getting hit here, and then that one's on top.
So basically you're saying that I had something to do with Lori?
I'm saying you killed Lori Lindenberg. I'm not saying it. I know you did. Okay. And I don't think it's that. I'm just telling you to be truthful.
Yeah, you
I'm sure
that to be truthful and basically say, like, I made it to one murder. Okay. About Lori's situation, you saying if I don't admit to it, it's just gonna come up in the future.
It most likely will.
That's what you're
because that's how the nature of it is. If we can get through it today, it can all go as one big thing over there, packaged together, and they can deal with one thing, one big thing together. You know what I mean? Otherwise, what happens in these kind of situations, you're always going to be locked up on the other one. They won't be in a rush to charge it. They'll just do further stuff, and then they'll charge down the road. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you'll end up getting charged with it, but it'll be separate, and then you're going to get sentenced on one and have a whole, and then they'll come do the other one, and then they go, oh, well, he's already this, and then they don't work. They can't do it, package things together as well. Then, you know what I'm saying? And the second thing is, it's just like the other case. I know, and I've tried to talk to you about things. I know a lot about Lori Lindenberg, and I don't think I know she is the one before, and the other time where she come out of the house and was yelling at you out there, and I'm not surprised that might be the same situation that happened the night.
The investigators come right out and accuse Vincent of taking Lori's life. They explain that the bullet casing match is gone, so they know it was his gun that was used. They also emphasize that if he waits to confess, he won't be able to earn concurrent jail sentences. For those of you who don't know, when a criminal is charged with several charges, they will each receive a sentence, crime, and the courts will typically let them run concurrently. Yet if the court is ignorant of another offense until after the offender has been sentenced, they will normally have to serve that sentence consecutively.
The same gun killed her that killed him.
You said the same gun that killed her killed him?
Yep.
Oh man.
You knew that was coming.
You knew that.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. Cause I got it when you were saying like the bullets and the fact, yeah, you're
Right.
basically saying that gun is leading towards that situation.
So tell me about how that happens. Did she freak out on you? Her normal thing? I know she was drunk.
I just saw her walking down the street, so I did it. It was a lot going through my mind. She bitched and yelled at me. And I was at the point where it was just like, I'm already going through a lot. Like, cause again, I was going through a situation and I was already riled up.
What did... I've heard through people that I've talked to that you were upset about, you had court earlier that month, correct?
What do you mean?
You had court on that case with Lori Lundenberg earlier that month, correct? Like,
Yeah, but what are you getting at?
I've been told by people, because we've talked to people.
Uh-huh.
You might not know people we've talked to, but we've talked to people.
Yeah.
And we've been told you were upset about having to go to court. You felt you were kind of wrong, that you shouldn't have been charged in that case. Is that correct? Does that sound correct to you? And was that part of your pissed off at her, and then she goes and yells at you in the street? Was your court date before you got in that confrontation in the street, or was it after that? Do you remember?
It was after my court.
Was it after your court date?
Yeah. It was after my court date. I saw her, she started yelling at me and stuff like that. I don't know what it was that... I don't know what it was that she threw at me, but she got mad, she started cussing me out, and I basically was already mad and stuff like that. And I had that gun on me. And basically,
So you're talking about the time on the sidewalk when you shoot her that she threw something at you, is that what you're saying? Or are you saying the time that she confronts you out by the car?
no, the time that she confronts me out by the car, that
Okay.
I didn't have the gun on me. I didn't point no gun at her.
Did you make a comment about a gun to her? I'll pop a cap in your ass or something similar to that? 'Cause I don't remember the exact term the person told me and kind of what she told the clerk, but it was something similar to that.
I know what you mean. It was the guy that I was with. He said that he had a gun in the car and and he was basically like trying to get her from coming towards the car, getting closer to the car because he didn't want.
That just reminds me a part of what I was told, and I'm sorry that I didn't reread that. About give me the gun or something you said to him at some point. He might have said something about the gun, but then you said give me the gun out of the car or something to get her the hell away from him. Does that sound correct or no? You tell me.
I didn't say give me no gun.
Okay.
He just told her like get away from the car because I got a gun. I'll shoot you.
Okay.
Like, and then we drove off. Like I didn't tell her that I had a gun. I didn't.
If my memory's correct, it was like a Grand Prix or something. Does that sound right? Would that be correct or no?
Grand Prix. What
What is it?
Pontiac,
Grand Prix.
like a 4-door car, if I remember.
Yeah, it was a 4-door car. I think, yep, that is a Grand Prix.
In March of 2019, Vicente pleaded no contest to first and second-degree murder. He is sentenced to life in prison without a chance of parole.
Hello. I'm Jessica. I'm going to take a couple quick pictures of you, okay? And I'm going to collect the shirt you're wearing, all right? I can get you to stand up right over here for me. All right, just come on away from the wall a little bit. That's it. You can look at me, please? Yeah. Thank you. One more. The first thing I'm going to do is take some swabs of your hands, okay? So you can go ahead and sit back down, or you can stand up, whatever's more comfortable for you right now.
I'm obviously gonna have to let your mom know about the Lori one too. And basically tell her you're having a tough night that night and ran into her and she gave you crap and you lost control. Is that a fair, what you'd like her to? Okay. And that you're sorry.